This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel, and perhaps you've heard about the new and latest offer by Disney that we talked about last week, where you can get 4 nights and get 3 nights for free at Disney World. Why not have the good folks at MEI and Mousefan Travel have you taken care of by booking it for you and take advantage of that whole package? In fact, they can help you with anything, really, even if you're going on a trip that doesn't have to do with those dates. Give them a try. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Wednesday, November 12th, 2008, and this is episode 480. Hotchberg of StudiosCentral.com. On today's show, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, yeah, buddy.
Also on today's show is Mike Scopa, a blogger over at allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Would the owner of the 5 $20 bills wrapped in a red rubber band please come to the entrance? We've found your rubber band.
Oh, my goodness.
I have never heard that in my life.
Me either. Wow.
Is it at the studios?
No.
Wow, that's a good one.
Is it the Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
Festival of the Lion King, he always quotes that.
No. Let's see.
I'm thinking of the
Is it
obvious.
at Jungle Cruise?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Very good, very good.
The tequila's working tonight. Thank you.
Very good.
Also on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
Howdy doody, Matt.
Nice 50s intro to you. And also joining us is Annette Owens, travel agent over at MEI and Mousefan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Oh, hi, guys.
Len has a little giveaway to announce. Anyone going to Mousefest?
Wait, hold on.
So,
Wait, 407-278-5939.
Be careful what you wish for, though.
For the nights of December 12th, 13th, and 14th, that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I've booked some offsite hotel rooms, some value resort offsite hotel rooms.
This is on value.
Some
Super
not a
value.
resort that I'm not going to be able to use because I'm staying somewhere else now. So if there's a listener who wants to use all 3 rooms, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, 3 different rooms, I'll be by to check you in.
They are off-site, we should add.
They're off-site. One is
Very
at the
off-site.
very off-site. They're all on 192 in Kissimmee. One is the Super 8. One is the Travelodge Eastgate, and the other one is the Legacy Grand Hotel. All of these are top 30 hotel deals from the Unofficial Guide 2009. If anyone's interested in staying at any of these, I'd prefer that one person take all 3. I'm happy to give them to you. Drop me a line, len@toriansplans.com. First come, first serve. No charge for that. And the only thing I would ask is that you'd be available to come back on a show later on, assuming you survive. And
Way to sell
and tell
it.
us what your experience is like. I know way to sell it exactly.
Well, it's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. We'll start out with an email from Tracy Williams of Fort Wayne, Indiana, who writes, "My husband and I will be traveling with our daughter for her first visit to Disney World in February 2009. We plan to visit the Magic Kingdom and Epcot. What are must-see attractions for a 3-year-old that we might easily overlook in the travel guides? She, of course, knows all the princesses by name. Also, which hotel off Disney property has the best pool? Thanks in advance." Well, let's start with the first question about taking a 3-year-old. I've actually traveled with a 3-year-old before. One of the things that 3-year-olds really enjoy, they obviously enjoy the Fantasyland attractions. That goes without saying. Characters are huge for them, assuming they're not afraid. Some 3-year-olds love them, some of them are afraid of them, so you got to really gauge that. Hopefully they'll be the kind that really likes it, because then it's easy. You just go from character to character, and they'll just eat it all up. Some attractions that really go well are the Dumbo attractions, the hub and spoke ones like Dumbo, Magic Carpets of Aladdin, whatever, the Triceratops Spin in Animal Kingdom. I mean, those things, a 3-year-old will just... no kid can resist spinning around in a circle, for 90 seconds. Evidently, it's like crack to the under 6 segment. So that's something that I can add. Annette, have you had any experience with directing maybe some clients who had 3-year-olds?
Yeah, young kids love Mickey's Toontown. Go back in the tents. You can ride Goofy's little Barnstormer roller coaster back there. There's a playground back there. You get to go into Mickey's house, Minnie's house. That's you're probably going to spend quite a bit of time in the back of the Magic Kingdom between that and Fantasyland.
Len, what about the second part of the question? Best off-site hotel pool?
Best offsite hotel pool, Nickelodeon Suites.
That's a good one. That's right on 536.
It's so it's actually not that far from Walt Disney World. It's Yeah, depending on which exit you take off of the toll road too, it's right there. It's on the left. The pool is pretty good for kids. It's half between a regular pool and a water park. Not quite the same type of thing as the yacht club and beach club, but pretty close.
Good. Next email is from Enrique, who writes, "Hey guys, I'll be running the Goofy Challenge and Animal Kingdom 5K Family Fun Race in Walt Disney World between January 9th and January 11th. We booked our airline tickets a while ago because of a great deal we found with AirTran. We know we'll be staying at the Wilderness Lodge and that we will be getting the dining plan, but have not booked that yet. Have you heard if Disney will be offering similar discounts for the first quarter of 2009 that they were offering in November and December of 2008? How long should we wait before making our hotel reservation while we wait for any type of discounts? With the situation in our economy and the drop in flights to Orlando, we assume Disney will come up with some type of incentive for the slow beginning 2009, hopefully free dining." Well, I think by now, Enrique, you probably heard about that great deal that I alluded to in the opening of today's show. And actually, if you listen to Friday's show, this past Friday's show, you'll know more about that. And I would really recommend that you listen to that. But certainly, that's something that he can definitely look into. It's probably his best bet, right, Annette?
Yeah, that's the best bet. And for people that are doing marathons and going for some of these special events, sometimes waiting for the deal to come along might not be your best bet. You might want to go on and book it, and then you can adjust it when something special comes out. I know when the special came out, Marathon Weekend was looking pretty tight on room space at some of the resorts. So
good. Next email is from our good friend Brett Caldwell, who writes, "Matt, congrats on the wedding. Seems my invite got lost in the mail. I suspect the same happened to the present that I sent."
Nice.
Very good. Can I just say that I love the show and can't believe the disrespect the other guys gave you while you were gone. Shocking to say the least. You are the wisdom, talent, humor, and brains that keeps the show so great and fresh. Hopefully that's sufficient sucking up because I'm not sure I can make up much more. But on a slightly more serious note. Wow, thanks, Brett.
He should have heard what was cut out.
We're planning a trip to the world after Thanksgiving, and we're planning several rope drop days in the parks. With 3 kids in tow, I know from experience that it's tough to get everyone well fed so early in the morning before we get to the parks. So, any thoughts on creative ways to have breakfast in each of the parks before rope drop? You know, as we rush off to Dumbo, Expedition Everest, Toy Story Mania, or Soarin', how do we avoid starvation? What are some of the best places to pick up some good but convenient food right when the park opens? What are some of the strategies you guys use? Favorite foods or restaurants? Please consider that there are some kiddos in the equation. Sorry, Scopa, this may eliminate you from the discussion. I'd love to hear your thoughts and strategies from the crew. It's a good question about what you can do because obviously you want to get something before you get there for road trip. I can understand that. You want to, when 9 a.m. hits, you want to run to, the most popular attractions and not be slowed down by someone needs to eat.
Right, exactly. But assuming that it has to happen, go ahead. Yeah,
I was going to say the best option that I would recommend is getting something before you even get to the park. Get up a little bit earlier, leave your resort a little bit earlier, and grab something either at your resort or if you. I assume, Brett, you're staying on Disney World property, so going off property to grab like something from Dunkin' Donuts might be a problem for you. But definitely grab something from your resort, and you know what? Take it with you. I usually when I go in the morning to the studios to do my update, I always bring granola bars with me because I'm never really hungry in the morning. But as soon as I get on the tram, I start getting that morning hunger, and I'll grab those granola bars, and those really work out well.
Yep.
So if you can bring something that's kind of portable in that regard for kids, that might be a good option for you. Do you guys have any suggestions?
Granola bars work really well. Pop-Tarts.
Yes.
Or if you throw those in the luggage, they tend to break up into little bite-sized chunks anyway, so Pop-Tarts work out pretty well. I especially like the frosting because they give you a little bit of a sugar rush, at a time. And those tend to work out pretty well. But if that doesn't work, good places for breakfast if you're going to the Magic Kingdom, I like to stop off over at the Polynesian if I'm coming from off-site.
Oh.
And go to Kona Coffee, grab a pastry and a cup of coffee, and then get something for myself after I fed the kids. Just kidding. And do that. That's pretty good too. Or there's nothing like bring bananas. If you're either in the park or if you're offsite and you can run by a grocery store, bananas are pretty good because they've got potassium. They're just loaded with vitamins, and they're good quick snack in the morning.
Absolutely, Mike Scopa. Do you have any thing to add in your experience in terms of bringing breakfast on the go?
No.
Okay, very good. All right. Next email is from Tara, who writes, "Hey, Mike's, Matt, Len, and Annette. Just found your show, and I'm already a huge fan. I have a question for you. My husband and I went to Disney for our honeymoon in September 2001. We were there from the 4th to the 11th. We were at the Magic Kingdom on 9/11 when they shut down the park and ushered us back to the resort. Man, I was glad we were at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and there was plenty to do at the resort that day. Anyway, On the way out of the park, they handed each of us a paper, one park, 1 day ticket, and said it would never expire, and bring the original ticket from that day back with us when we came to use it. I'm getting to a question, I promise. We were on a 10-day park hoppers that trip, so that really added the value. That day would be like $2 or something like that, since we live a long way away. We always visit for 10 days. I never use them because it seemed like a waste to buy a 9-day ticket and then use it when a 10-day ticket is only a couple bucks more. Anyway, I had a thought though. Could I take that 1-day ticket and ask guest relations to apply it towards the purchase of a 10-day ticket? We're not on a package this upcoming trip, so we won't already have tickets purchased. Actually, we're renting DVC points for the first time. If I do apply to a new ticket, what will it take off the cost? If it would deduct the current cost of a 1-day ticket, then it would be worth it. But if they're only going to deduct the cost of the 10th day of a park hopper in 2001, then I'm only saving a couple bucks and I would be better off to hold on to it. I bet this is actually one question you don't get a lot, but I could be wrong. Interesting question. Is a free day going to be worth $75 or $1.50?
I think it's $1.50. I don't think that they would allow that. That is a what's the word I want to use? It's a gift. So I don't think that they would allow you to use that value towards another ticket. So I'm thinking that he can't do that. My opinion.
Yeah, I think your best bet would just be to use that day as mission. You know what I mean? If you want 10 days, just get 9 and use that extra 1 as your day. I think that'd be a better bet than trying to get value out of it, because I think, like Mike said, I think that's not going to work.
I'd love to know if that ticket was stamped with the day, because I certainly know I wouldn't be turning that in.
I was going to say, I might would be keeping that.
Yeah. If it has a date stamp on it, I would really be keeping that.
Years from now, it definitely would be more than $1.50 worth.
Yeah.
Next email is from David Erickson of Seattle, Washington, who writes, Greetings. We love the show and listen to it frequently to help us better visualize our upcoming trip to Disney World in excruciating detail. We're actually Disneyland annual pass members, but always like to find time to visit both parks at least once a year. My friend and I are going to be planning our next trip to go to Disney World soon. And take advantage of
during September 2008.
All right, anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Of course, we also chose this week based on the crowd calendar data from the unofficial guide. My question pertains to the Cirque du Soleil La Nuba show in downtown Disney. We're interested in going, but would like to figure out what our strategy should be to get the best possible deal on tickets. Based on the Cirque du Soleil website, the tickets are divided into 4 categories, ranging in price from $52 to $114 per seat. It appears that only the top 3 categories are available, with the lowest tier only available for purchase at the box office. In your experience, what's the best approach here? Are the lowest category seats typically something that can be purchased a few days before when we are on site? Should we splurge and get the more expensive seats? Or does the fact that the show is done in a fairly intimate theater mean that the different seating categories are less important?
They're less important. It really doesn't matter. Unless you really want to get close to the stage, I don't really think it's a big deal to go from one ticket to the other.
Yeah, okay. I haven't been there, so I'll stand by your advice, Mike. Next email is from Wayne Bell, who writes, I would really appreciate it if you all did a show or a section of the show on Pleasure Island. As a child, I loved the Adventurers Club, the Neon Armadillo, etc. The fireworks were great. As it expanded and West End opened, I still love the Adventurers Club and Mannequins. In 2002, I became a Walt Disney World College Program employee. One thing that I don't think is being addressed with the closing is the effect it has on the college program kiddies. Pleasure Island provides a safe, affordable, and fantastic environment. I loved motion, as did my peers. I am deeply saddened by the closing of Pleasure Island. I hope that you share my feelings and will address perhaps some history, etc., and memories of it. It seemed to me that for close to 20 years, it has been a major part of Walt Disney World. You know, one thing I never did, I never really got around to going to Pleasure Island. It never really appealed to me that much. Out of like going to, like, say when that Irish bar opened up. I'm blanking on the name here.
Raglan Road?
Raglan Road, yeah. Like something like that. I walked through it a few times. It seemed interesting, but I never really got around to, before I moved down here, I never found the time or the energy at late at night to go out and, you know, go party and go to the clubs. Obviously, I think one of the things that I think we all think is terrible, and we hope that it'll come back in one form or another, is, of course, the Adventurers Club, because that was unique in its own.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, actually.
Yeah. Next email is from Bill from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who writes, looking for some good seafood. Going to the world last week in October 2009, and I was thinking Narcoossee's or the Blue Zoo. Any suggestions? Somebody told me that they were disappointed, and they felt because of the dining plan, the menu was limited. We're not on the dining plan. Thanks. Don't miss the show. Have a maple syrup on me.
Yeah, I wasn't that impressed with Blue Zoo. I went in late 2006, I think, for MouseFest. 2006, or maybe it was 2007. It wasn't that. I didn't think it was that good.
I've had some decent seafood, but not at restaurants that specialize in it. Like, for instance, at the Brown Derby, they have a great ahi tuna, which I really enjoyed quite a bit. They also have a nice tuna dish at Mama Melrose, which I also
I'm
enjoyed.
so over like this basic seared tuna dish.
Yeah, but
it's like, I mean, they got to do something more than that.
I think I agree with you, Len, that there isn't quite a great variety, and I think that with Disney they kind of figured out, we can do tuna really well. Let's plug it into a few different places. But I agree with you that there isn't anywhere that I can really think of that does seafood like exceptionally well, like kind of like this restaurant is the seafood as Yachtsman's is the steak.
Right. No, I haven't been in Arcusi's. We should go during MouseFest.
Yeah, make the
Find the time.
Exactly. Next email is from Cami Lucas of Crawfordsville, Indiana. Who writes, "Hello, beautiful and fabulous Walt Disney World Today team." Clearly, she has not seen a photo of us. I am in the midst of planning our latest Walt Disney World vacation for my husband and I, and have a question for you. My brother works at Walt Disney World and thus can share his wonderful family discount with me, as well as getting us into the parks for free. Other listeners, don't be haters. So we have a bit more money than usual to spend for our next trip. We normally stay at moderate, say Port Orleans French Quarter is our favorite, and are excited to stay at a deluxe. So, where would you recommend we splurge? We spent our honeymoon in 2004 at the Polynesian before the renovation. We both stayed at the Contemporary back in the mid-90s with our respective families, long before the renovations, of course. We have also stayed at Wilderness Lodge in the early 2000s, and I loved it, and have stayed at the Boardwalk and did not love it so much. We didn't like that there were no 24-hour quick service food options. With the discount, we can afford to upgrade to different views in the Magic Kingdom views or Water View. However, still cannot afford any kind of suite or concierge. Not that they're not sure that's even an option with the family discount, actually. So, what do you Walt Disney World geniuses think? We bow to your superior wisdom. I think this is a good Scopa question.
It's a Scopa question? All right.
I
He said, I was going to suggest the Animal Kingdom Lodge Concierge. That's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah, I believe concierge is available with the cast member discount. But anyway, I mean, let's assume that they don't want concierge for one reason or another. Maybe even too pricey, even with the discount. Next email is from Kevin Quigley of Boston, Massachusetts, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and Fabulous Annette. I'm a recent listener, only about 3 months in now, and I'm listening to the new stuff. I'm catching up on the older stuff as well. One recent podcast that caught my ear was the Dining in Fantasyland episode. Are there any plans to go any further in the Magic Kingdom and tackle the rest of the lands? I'd love to hear what everyone thinks, especially as I'm heading back to the world in a month and a half." We actually did do follow-up shows and all that, and you can check that out, Kevin, in our show notes. I'll try, or in the show archives, rather. I will try to put a link in the show notes if I can to them and track them all down. Kevin adds, "Also, soon after my trip to the world, I'm heading to Disneyland for the first time. Lou Mangel did a fairly recent comparison of Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort, but I'd be more interested to hear having you folks weigh in on it. Keep up the great work. I will look for new shows daily." Well, Len, you're really hot and heavy in Disneyland, often with the unofficial guide work over there.
Bing! Thank you.
What's your 10-second opinion of Disneyland?
Disneyland is smaller, and the original Disneyland attractions that were copied in Disney World are almost universally better in Disneyland. So that includes Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean. So don't think that those rides are the same in both parks. Do the Disneyland versions first.
Very good. Next email is from Chad from Muskego, Wisconsin, who writes, "Hi, Matt, Mike, Len, and possibly Annette. In episode 433, Ken from North Carolina wrote in with some great tips for successfully touring with young children. I wanted to add another tip. My family traveled to Walt Disney World the first week of January. Our daughters were 6 and almost 2 at the time. In preparation for the trip, we exposed our youngest to the music at the parks, focusing specifically on the attractions that could be later in the evening, like parades, intimidating fireworks shows, and requiring prolonged attention, stage shows. In addition, she enjoyed looking at pictures from past trips and watching the PhotoPass movie we had made from a previous trip. I know it sounds odd, but the idea behind it was that to make the many sights and sounds of the park familiar to her and therefore less intimidating. Plus, is it ever too early to brainwash your children? In the end, she loved every minute of the trip and hugged every character she could find. 6 months later, she still talks about the trip." Newell, reading this email, basically, Mouse World Radio is perfect for young children is what I'm hearing.
Is that what you're hearing? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, evidently hearing the sounds and everything of the attractions. I mean, you got to exploit that under 12 demographic.
Get them while they're young, Mike.
Exactly, you in the tobacco industry.
Oh, jeez. Great. That's all I need.
Nice.
Yeah,
Next-
same.
Next email is from someone who didn't put their name in here. Don't know who it is. Anyway, writes, hi guys. I sent in this question earlier this week about room resorts with 3 beds. But after checking out past episodes in the unofficial guide, by the way, it amazes me each edition gets better and better, I have come to the unavoidable conclusion that there is no better value than the All-Star Movies Family Suites. Or Family Suites. I have a question for Len about crowd calendars. I'm giving you plenty of time to answer because I'm going in May. We've been fairly successful in visiting the world the week before Memorial Day. This works for us because our sons go to a private school, which is usually closed Thursday and Friday before Memorial Day, while everyone else is still in school. That way, we can avoid spring break crowds, and the boys miss less school than if we took them out for a whole week. As anyone who looks to the crowd calendar in the unofficial guide can see, there's a serious spike in the crowd calendar for Memorial Day weekend. Since we get most of our touring in during the week and follow touring plans anyway, which works out fine for us. Here's my question. Which park or parks, including water parks, are least affected by the weekend crowds? For example, would it be better to go to Epcot for the weekend since it handles larger crowds, or maybe the holiday crowd isn't interested in Animal Kingdom or water parks? I would love to hear your thoughts.
So for that weekend, we've actually got the Magic Kingdom for Saturday and Animal Kingdom for Sunday. But the listener brings up an interesting point. Crowds in the water parks are dominated by out-of-town visitors. So water park best days are almost universally Saturday and Sunday. That's what I would suggest if you don't want to go to a regular theme park and you wanted to do a water park. Visit those on the weekend.
Think about it. If you're a local and you say, I want to go to Disney World for Memorial Day weekend, do you think they're going to Typhoon Lagoon or they're going to the Magic Kingdom? You know?
Exactly.
Next email is from Chris from Londonderry, New Hampshire. He writes, my wife and I are getting ideas together for our second honeymoon trip to Walt Disney World. For part of that trip, we thought it would be a good idea to get a room at Animal Kingdom Lodge and for the later days of the week for the express purpose of being able to see the animals with the Savannah view. Our question is, do you need to reserve a Savannah view room, or is there an observation deck anyone can run down to early in the morning to see the animals if you're a regular Animal Kingdom Lodge room? Annette?
Oh, there's several different places you can see the animals from. There's several lookouts you can go and use. And don't forget the nighttime goggles that you can use as well, so you don't have to just see them in the morning.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't need to. Although the one thing about, we talked about this a little bit on Monday's show, is if you have a room that has Savannah view, I mean, it's fantastic. You can literally get out of bed, walk to your balcony, and sit and watch the animals. And there's something just really nice about naked. Exactly.
Okay, but other people are using binoculars, and they do warn you of that.
So?
Yeah, oh, right, whatever.
I mean, obviously it's a matter of convenience. Obviously going down, 3 floors to the lobby and walking out, I mean, there are plenty of areas to see for the public, so that wouldn't be an issue for you. So it's up to you, what's your time and convenience worth to you. Next email is from Mary Jo Collins of Lenoir City, Tennessee. Who writes, hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and the fabulous Annette. I'm going to attempt, in quotes, the marathon on Sunday, January 11th, 2009.
I'll be with you.
I have read in an official guide that Marathon Weekend is one of the busiest weekends of the year, but it made me wonder what the parks will be like on the Thursday and Friday before the race and the Monday and Tuesday after the race. What parks would be best on these days?
So the race is on January 10th and 11th. The half marathons on the 10th, the marathons on the 11th. The Thursday and Friday ahead of time, Magic Kingdom is still going to have extra magic hours on Thursday. So we're saying Epcot and the Animal Kingdom are the best for Thursday. For Friday, we're saying it's the Animal Kingdom. For the Monday and Tuesday afterwards, we have the studios as the Monday and the Magic Kingdom on the Tuesday. And those crowd levels are 5s and 6s on the Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Because as we all know, everyone in the marathon is going to be in the hospital, afterwards. So you don't have to worry about that. That's what we're thinking. So crowd should be fairly moderate, except for the weekend days, and use really do use the crowd calendar for finding the best parks to visit those days.
Can I add?
I'll be there for the marathon, by the way. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add that on Sunday when the marathon is going on, it will be very crowded in the studios because the marathon goes through the studios.
Yep.
So until early afternoon, that is going to be a difficult park to tour on Sunday. On Saturday and Sunday in the morning, the Epcot will be, well, I guess Epcot's not that bad anymore. Just in the front. You want to be in World Showcase on those days in the morning on Saturday and Sunday. And on Friday, that is the 5K race at the Animal Kingdom. So I'm not sure. I don't think that affects the crowds on Friday, but for sure, be careful on Saturday in Future World and on Sunday in the studios about midday.
Good. Well, it's that time for everyone's favorite part of the day. It's when Newell picks the last question. And Mike, I went through the emails and I picked the ones that flagrantly pandered to you, Mike. So you have a tough choice. I'm gonna tell you, this one's probably gonna be the toughest week you've had ever.
You say that every week.
Yeah, but this one's true. All right.
Seriously, I mean it this time. Yeah.
That's right. Now this one's really good. All right, first one. Newell, a Hochberg honeymoon question.
Ooh.
Number 2, Newell, pick mine for the last question.
Ooh.
Number 3, Newell, pick me, AP DVC break-even question. I will say that the first one is rather humorous at my expense.
Then let's go with that one.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm all for that.
This next email is from Wayne from Walnut, Mississippi. Writes, hello, guys. My wife and I was at the World last month, September 2008. But by the time you get this, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Oh.
My question is, if we ask Matt's wife what attraction would best describe their honeymoon, would she say Fantasmic, Fast Track, Finding Nemo, or It's a Small World?
Rock and roller coaster.
Maybe the listeners could add more honeymoon questions, and later you could do a honeymoon show. Have a magical day. Newell, he's banned.
Cut off,
What were the selections again, Matt?
Fantasmic, Test Track, Finding Nemo, or It's a Small.
She missed one.
Which
Go
one
ahead.
Would be
Tower of Terror.
No, I like Finding Nemo myself personally.
I thought It's a Small World was actually funny, but
Oh,
so banned.
funny.
So banned.
Funny. Tomorrowland Transit Authority.
Maybe it was Laugh Floor.
Jokes just write themselves. Oh, classic.
Marissa's Great Escape. Maybe that one.
Yeah, really.
I'm never writing it. Anyone who writes to Newell again is banned.
That's
All right, well, that's it for us today. This episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel. And if you're looking for really nice people to help you plan your next trip, the kind of people that don't make fun of you or really pander to listeners who write in and make
the base instinct of our listeners.
Exactly. Really nice people, really good, honest people. The good folks at MEI and Mousefan Travel can help you plan your nurse trip to Walt Disney World and help you get through your tough times. Give them a try. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Atlantis, Mike Sopa, Mike Newell, and the Fabulous Annette, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.